There's a lot of women with this coding on their device from this guy, and they don't really know that it's even there. And that's what troubled me so much, and one thing that made me make this channel is because I take my intelligence for granted, and I sort of have like a forensic type of intelligence. I like to know what caused things to happen and what order they happened and who did what and stuff like that. And it's kind of like a hobby for me, but I don't get into crimes or anything. That's not my thing. But I mean dissecting events, I guess I would say. So, so it made me realize that I never really thought about it before, that people don't really do that normally. They're just sort of sheep, and they just sort of go through things, and they don't really ask themselves if that's how they should be treated by other people or not. And it really helps me to think that way about things. So I just wanted to show you this and make it clear that that thing I said about the drive, about my drive.google thing, is something that's wrong. It's not correct on my device. Someone's altered it, made it look different so that they can access it as well. And I don't know if they can access it without accessing the email from Bluetooth or something, or if they actually have to be logged onto my email and they're trying to just duplicate the drive I already have. It's kind of like a filtering thing. So they want to see what I'm doing before I do it, so then they can act, and they don't have to go through all the hoops of getting on the device and all that stuff. That's why most redirects exist, right? Because it's hard to get your Hulu password just by trying to get your Hulu password. But if they can get you to log on to a fake Hulu site, then that makes it easier for them to access the real Hulu site. It's like a filtering. You have access to the fake front, and they have access to the actual web page. So it just happened to me the other day with my Netflix, and I showed that to you. I have that taped as well. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like here with the drive, okay? Okay, so here you see the mobile website for my drive where I have all my thumbnails saved and stuff. So then here, if I go up here, you can tell that my thing is already automatically, no, it's not, let's try this. Usually it's already on, watch the URL change. Okay, now most people would think that this is a good website, but look at the URL very carefully. Okay, it doesn't need to repeat itself. It looks like a regular web page. It looks like it's fine. But if you look at the URL, it says drive.google.com, and then it says /drive/my-drive. It doesn't need to say that. So then if you go here and you type in Google Drive web page, you click this, you say images. Now this is what everybody else's looks like. Okay? And this is how you think about things intelligently to decide what's happening to your things if you're dealing with men like this, like I'm dealing with, and a couple women as well. In the past it's been women, now it's mostly guys here at this place. So you have to ask yourself, does mine look like theirs? Does my URL look like their URL? So let's see what this one looks like. And remember, I've had people have like airdrops and drop boxes and websites and family vlogs and all these things, and I never tried to get into any of them because I don't really care what people say about me. But when I'm using a website for myself, I'm very, very careful to make sure that it looks like what it should look like. This is obviously a separate web page, right? So we don't want to use that because that's not really a Google website like it said. This one looks like one. Now here's this one. Watch the URLs change. It's that guy trying to smear me and give weird information to people. He's always saying SA, which I thought meant San Antonio, but evidently means sex abuse or something. But I have never sexually abused someone, so I don't know why he would be saying that about me. I think he must be kind of insane. So if you look up here, it says Google is testing a new Drive homepage. So go to that link. Y'all already know if my thing looks right or not, but remember, I don't, because I've never seen one before. Okay, so then I say X. I'm not on Twitter right now, so I just browse it like everyone else. Okay, so watch all this. I never give people permission to view my files. I suggest that you don't either, unless you can have a separate file for work stuff only. So right here, if you look down the side, it does say my drive. It says shared with me recent starred trash storage, right? Okay, so then I go back to mine. And I say, okay, mine also says home, my drive, computers, shared with me recent starred spam trash storage. Now this computer tab is interesting because I only have the one, and you notice that when I drop it down, it doesn't show anything. That's suspicious. So then you want to make sure that no one is backing up your stuff. You still see how it says drive.google.com? You can erase all of that. And then you say backups. See, there's a redirect. That's not a normal redirect, right? So then here, you have to go back to the web page that they give you to use because remember, I'm limited by my stalkers. So you have to go back here. See how it shows up and says pli equals 1? I don't know what that means. It might mean that the stalker thinks a lot of weird things, right? With him, usually P stands for penis, and 1 is white supremacy. I don't know if that means anything to you. I have no idea what LI means. Maybe look in, or lie like LIE, I hope. So funny. But whatever. I have no idea what he's saying. He's kind of nutty. So if you say this, because the thing is about these things after the slashes is they imply that you could have something else here instead of the word drive that would be also available to you to use. And in this case, there really isn't one. So it just seems like a lot of repetition, and it's suspect to someone who knows about URLs. They would probably think that was kind of a clunky URL to have, to say drive.google.com/drive/mydrive, right? Most people would think there's something wrong with that. But evidently this time, that's the URL that we have to use. So we have to say drive/backups. This is how, because I don't have any backups installed on my device, this is how we see if Google One is being stolen by somebody. None. Okay, good. I always have to check. But this over here, this tab that says computers with a little drop down guy, I don't know if other people have them. So then I have to go up to Google and I say Google Drive Computers tab. And I go to images to make sure I'm talking about the same thing. And I look here. Okay, that's obviously not my way of using Google Drive. This is closer to what I have. So let's see if there even is a computers tab. There is a computers tab. That's good to know, right? So then here you look and you see that it's supposed to have a folder that says my tablet or my laptop. Well, I don't have a laptop. I've never connected a laptop to my Google Drive. So that's odd, isn't it? So that's probably why there's nothing under there. But I still wonder why there isn't something for my mobile device, or if it's hidden. And that's the kind of thing that makes me want to get on a laptop and look at the coding for the web page, because there should be something there, some sort of forensic information that tells you who's been logging on to my thing. We know that the guy has a phone, and he has a workstation with towers. We know that C had a workstation with towers and various mobile devices that have been logged onto this in the past. So that's one thing I am trying to figure out. See, look here. All of this stuff on the right-hand side where it says someone's been syncing their computer. I understand that part. I'm just trying to see this part here. Where is it? Here. Do you see where it says my computer? So I don't have the same access to their devices when they are on my thing actively as I should, because it's my email. It's not that they're hacking my Wi-Fi or hacking anything. They're on my device. So when they look at my Google Drive, they probably see a different web page than I do, and I wouldn't have any idea of that if I didn't research it a little bit to see what it's supposed to look like. So I'm looking forward to getting my laptop connected to this, even though I don't really know if it's safe to do so right now because I don't want them to have all this access. But I wanted to explain to you what I do so that you understand that this is not a crazy, thing that's paranoid delusion. This is actually someone logging on to my device. And that's what I was trying to explain to you before. So let's see what this says. Another thing I like to do is to go through here and see what they suggest as a link. So here, you click on this. You have to see here. And this answer I always find very helpful. So you see there's a computer tab, a container, a box, if you will, that you're supposed to put things in. And here, there isn't that information on mine. For some reason, C isn't allowing me to have that. And also, I don't have access to my Gmail emails. But you can bet that whoever's on my computer from their computer does. Okay, so let's try to log them off again. Well, first of all, let me show you one more thing you can do. You can go to Manage My Google Account. I've already shown you how to access the Details tab on the Wi-Fi. You go to Data and Privacy, which you see they're not letting me have any, even though I'm not under house arrest and I'm not their pimpette or whatever, and they don't have any right to have any information of mine whatsoever at all. So hold on one second. And remember, this person is using my screen code and my passkeys and my passwords to log on to my device from their device. And you can tell if you look at the images that they're going to. You see it says down? That's supposed to mean something to you from the stalker. We don't know why he puts words in URLs like that. And you can hear him making a horrible noise on the air conditioner as well. So if you scroll here, you'll see, and here he's using nature, real estate, travel. He's getting on my Wi-Fi and looking at things. And that is not me. Okay? That's him being an ass. And we know that C is a realtor and that he has other realtors that work for him under that umbrella that are and aren't realtors. Okay? And here you can see this storage Google Apis. That's the website I looked at. Website I looked at. Website I looked at. Website I looked at. We're just looking for anything weird. Now this is weird here. That could be one of those websites. And then we're back to this. And see here, this is someone trying to log on to my Netflix without my permission. So let's see what device did that. Okay, that could mean that they're naming my device their device. Or it could just be a spoofing webpage that I logged into. Which remember, I tried to put that on. I'll have to clip that for that category of things on my channel. But you know I'm not trying to add a phone. I don't have a phone right now. The man has my phone. He's trying to use it to access all my things, which is really frustrating. Okay, is there anything else on here that looks like malware? Because this thing's been acting weird. Okay, now here's chat, reddit.com. He's trying to isolate me, right? So he's trying to keep track of everything I do by making it vomit out URL information for every click that I make, which is not something that he needs to know about me. Even though this is my own email, he accesses it to find out this information. He seems convinced that I've spoken to movie stars of some sort. So T2 is probably either something about teaching or something about Arnold Schwarzenegger or God knows what. It would be a pleasure to talk to at any time, but I don't believe I've actually spoken to the man. I'm not sure. But he is a pleasure to talk to. So here, if you go down, this guy is absolutely obsessed with trying to co-opt any kind of illustrious contacts that I do have, which I don't have many, but I mean, he tries to co-opt them for his clubs and things, and it's very uncomfortable for everyone when he does that. It's like he wants me to pimp for him, even though, or to do the other thing for him, I guess, even though I'm not in any way beholden to him. He just tries to use every woman that he meets in some fashion, which is sad. That's my user if you guys want to talk to me on Reddit. It's my old name, but it has an underline on it because I still have to get back my other email, which he's also trying to use to co-opt people to do things, which is frustrating. Okay, so far, luckily, there doesn't seem to be as much usage. He's probably busy with his family, let's hope. But you can tell if you look at the times that he's right along with me. It's probably a bot of some kind. That every website I visit, he visits it too. So please do me the favor, if before anyone runs off telling people that I'm paranoid or whatever, to actually look at the data. Because the data is supporting what I'm saying. See, he went to Amazon Prime Video this morning. I haven't done that. So, and there he is. That's the stalker, y'all. So before you look at my email and tell me that that has to be my computer, just understand that it's not my computer. It's a grown man trying to sponge without permission off a woman that's probably older than him. And doesn't know him, and doesn't want to pimp for him, and doesn't want anything to do with him whatsoever. And you can tell here, I'm not going to Wordscapes. That's him again. This is probably the guy with special needs. And here he is on his little device using my phone while I'm sleeping. This is me. That's my device. His device. My device. It makes me so frustrated. Not really frustrated in like a bad way, but it's difficult when you've gone through a crime to have people say that you haven't. Okay? See, I don't know what this is. It's very upsetting. The D static. And some kind of pop-up storage trailer thing. I don't know what that means. I was looking for this book because when I was little, it was one of my favorite books. It was just my favorite book. And my mom and I used to read it together, and I have never been able to find it, and I just love it to death. And I used to go around sewing slippers. I used to sew slippers for myself and sew socks and darn socks and pretend to be Wendy from all the Peter Pan, all this other stuff. So it was just remembering fun times from Christmases past. And it makes me kind of sad that he goes through and does that too. Like he has to know about that. And look, he's even looking it up on eBay now. It's just so frustrating. The book's actually at my mom's house, but I don't know if I'll ever see it. So anyway, this is me trying to figure out, I was going to do some translating today. But if you look, whatever bot he's installed on my computer, which may function as an emulator for a device, that might be what I keep logging off and not a person. But it's just so frustrating that all I did was come in close proximity with this man and watch his daughter get into trouble in her teaching career, which I had nothing to do with. And all of a sudden I'm being surveilled for nothing. But anyway, the point is, I hope you have a happy day. It's Christmas Day, but I probably won't upload this until later. Well, I might upload it real quick, actually, to kind of forestall. Because my father, I don't know what you call him. I guess he's my brother-in-law. He's my daughter's husband's dad. He is interested in this kind of thing, too. And maybe he's a Dell guy. And maybe he'll understand more about what I'm going through if I show it to you this way. So, because it's hard to explain to people, because you think you click on more than one thing in a minute, and that's true. But if you look at here, the device information is different. Ours not, but sometimes it is. That's me. And remember, I changed my password on Netflix, so that's good. So he's busy, but then he pops back up here and does that, which is odd. And you see it says if you use a shared device or sign in with multiple accounts. I don't have a shared device. So I go down here. And I know it's difficult. My voice gets a little shrill sometimes, but I'm trying to keep it low for y'all. This is the lowest I can talk. So if you go here, you can see that there's nobody logged on right now but me on my email. And if you look here, you can see that I am not currently sharing my device with anyone else. And if you look here, let's see, I don't have this turned on right now. So if you look here, see security, find my device. You see that he hasn't turned that off right now, but sometimes he does remotely turn that on. And I don't know how he does that either, probably from his phone that he stole from me it's not connected to my Gmail, but it was when I first got it because it was my phone. with my SIM card in it and everything. And he has duplicated my SIM card and accesses a lot of things that way. Now here you can tell that he doesn't have any parental controls on here, which is nice. If I could make him a child on this thing, then I would. But I can't because I just don't want to give him that legitimacy. And here you can tell that any way you could possibly access it remotely is turned off as far as I can turn it off. But he still logs in. So now I'm going to log off and I'll show you that he's on here right now in some form. Okay, now you can see up here it says I just changed my password just now. So I click on this. And you have to look up here at the website, at the URL. Let's turn it sideways. Now, if you look at this, you'll have to tell me, guys. Let's see, did it stop recording? No, okay, good. You'll have to tell me, guys, does it look like yours? Because until I know for sure that mine looks like yours, then I'm going to wonder. There's so many Gmails that it makes sense it would have to have some kind of unique key that could be that long. However, the wrapped part doesn't make sense because my account shouldn't be dedicated to someone else's account. And if that's what that means, that'd be really troubling. Wrapped usually means that something is held captive by something. And I just cannot handle this guy being around my stuff anymore. I want him off of everything that I have, completely and utterly gone from my life. And he won't go. And it makes no sense. And he shouldn't have ever. It's been 7 years now that my life has been like this. And it shouldn't have ever been like this for any woman that has anything to do with him whatsoever. Okay, so you can see that on this device, I've been changing my password. Okay. There used to be Linux logging on here and changing my password from him, but that has all been me. But he does change my password sometimes, or he changes the email on my thing sometimes. Okay, so let's see. And you can see that for once it did not. Oh, look. It's a miracle, y'all. I wonder what that means. My device has been working so well yesterday and today. But I still had to sign everybody out like 10,000 times. So what does this mean? Does this mean he stopped? Because if you look down here, this is C's Linux, right? Logging on to my device over and over and over again and staying on in the background. And I think he had an emulator that he called this number that kept staying on my device. Or emulating my device on his device somehow. But he logged off for the last time on December 6th when he moved, y'all. And then no one logged on again on this Linux until December 19th. So it's like he couldn't help himself. Not only that, but it meant that the device is still here. The Linux is still here. The location history shows it in this complex somewhere. So that means that he left behind the way for someone else to harass me. And now, oh no, look, there he is. Y'all, what is he doing to me? I got so excited. I thought I was free. I thought Dobby had a sock. I was so happy. Oh my gosh. Because I haven't been 12 hours without this jerk on my computer. I haven't had it in 7 years. It's since 2020. Since 2020. Okay? I haven't had 5 minutes without him trying to harass me. And other women. And it's just crazy. And I thought I was finally free for 12 hours. Mostly I've been asleep, but look at that. So that's the stalker, y'all. I guess that was his little Christmas present to me. Was 12 hours without him harassing me. And see, he just does it through the Google Chrome build that he made me download from the Play Store. It's the only Chrome I have access to. And somehow it's an APK that allows him to access my device. I don't know how he does it, but if I say don't recognize something, change my password again. Pause, y'all. Okay, now if I go to continue to your Google account, scroll down and click on manage all devices. But remember, my drive doesn't let me see that there's anyone logged onto my account. It still says that. But now down here it says that I just signed him out. But it doesn't say just now. I guess that would be just now, really. So this must be a phone or some type of mobile device that he uses when he can't get to his tower. But y'all, I can't get him to leave me the ass alone. It's so funny. The hell alone. I'm trying to use good language in case a kid wants to watch this. Because some kids are really good at coding. Okay, so for my Christmas present, what I'm asking is that someone help me understand. This is the only device that I have. It is not a Linux device. It is an own tablet that I bought new in the box from Walmart. And which during one time when I was asleep, C came in and installed malware on it because it was night and day when I woke up the next day, and it was in a different place when I woke up as well. And if you look here, let me show you more proof, because people think I'm crazy. I know they think I'm crazy, but I also know that I'm not. And that going through all of these things would make anyone seem a little fractious. So you can tell that when I bought it, it looked a certain way, right? But if you go down here, you can see that there's a build number that appeared after I bought it when C was trying to mess with it, because he has these packs that he can put on people's computers. Everything else doesn't really seem that different, right? And see, I don't use their wallpaper. They have this thing called wallpaper and something else credits. But you see, when I put on my wallpaper on my wall, because he's schizophrenic and he has delusions of reference, he came in and he installed that on my device. And I don't know why he does stuff like that. He doesn't have the right to do those things, but he does them anyway and then asks permission later. And at some point, one of these things has to be illegal. It's upsetting. And see, this doesn't even really look like a real Google thing. This is that coating. You see there's a lot less coating than there was on before, which is nice. Now see, I don't want any of this on my thing. And this OSU login is how he's accessing my device. And he puts this on almost all the devices that are here that he can have access to. And this is a federal crime, y'all. This is what I mean by it. Like, someone one day is going to look into his taxes and things, because this is what people go to jail for. And I'm trying to keep him from getting in trouble too. I was for a long time. I would ask him directly to take stuff off of my device. I would ask him to not access my Wi-Fi in words to his face. And he just ignores because he wants to. He wants to know what I'm doing. He wants to know all of this information. And he doesn't have the rights. And it's weird to see that this is on a woman that's not related to him. I'm not his dependent child or anything like that. And this is kind of a big deal. Especially this one. Now surely one of these things will trouble you as well. Because remember, my mom is 1/2 black and I'm 1/4 black. And look up here, it says half sheet, Unix, Google, 331117. And we know that he has delusions of reference to numbers. We know that he thinks 33 has to do with gay people, or with Trinity, which is the college I attended before, or with Jesus, because Jesus died at 33. We know that he's mentioned all of these kinds of things before, and it's just kind of crazy. And see, it says offload at btf.o. I mean, this should trouble you. And probably one of these is how he's getting on my YouTube and trying to limit my YouTube channel by having bots report it and do all kinds of things. Privacy app allow list com. Y'all, I have never been accused of doing anything that would require anyone to act like this. I don't know what this means. I don't know what a wooby is, but he seems to think that I am one. And evidently he wants them to have a bad life. Like, unless you do what he does, he thinks that you should suffer. And I mean suffer, not pretend suffer. And that's just simply for being different than him. And you know, I paid $120 for this tablet, y'all. And caught to him means CAUGHT, But I haven't done anything to be caught doing. Isn't that strange? And it looks like another date. I don't know what is with him in the dates. We know that 1-1 is AA to him. I don't know what 6 would be. I guess F. So AFA. I have never abused anyone in the Air Force, y'all. I don't know what the hell. This is probably his rap that he's trying to put on me. And it really upsets me because I don't know what all he's done. He doesn't seem like the nicest person all the time, but he can seem very nice too, especially when he wants something from you. But remember, I've always refused to have anything to do with him. So all of this was installed by him and a former student of mine when I was subbing. I mean, a former student of mine that he knows came up here and rented an apartment here and was also harassing me. This is pretty much the only holiday in like 5 years that he hasn't done that. And I don't know why he's not doing that now. But see, they put all these words, but that doesn't really mean anything. It could be nothing at all. But they say things like sound trigger 3 and all of this stuff. And they literally try to contact people. You may have heard from them yourselves. But see, it says Kotlink X. X is a white supremacy thing for some people, not for everyone. But because it's 10, and white people consider themselves to be 1, and 10 is 1-0. And so it means that. And you know his name is C, which is sometimes represented by an X. And so he puts X's in a lot of things. I did not know that that word was represented by an X or a cross or a little t until I got here and met this man and saw all the odd ways that he signs himself on things. Because like I said, I read coding, and that is one of the things that he does, which is kind of creepy. I don't mean to, and you see it says Apex, which could be Apex or it could be Ape-X. We just don't know. I've seen it mean both with him. And remember, it's not just him. And not all of these are him. Some of these are his friend that's super, super racist. That he let have access to all his things to harass me because I refused to have anything to do with him. So he decided to turn, he was like, okay, well, you leave me no choice. And then he turned all of his stuff over to this super racist person. Like I caused that somehow. And so I'm not meaning to complain. I just wanted to show you that I cannot get this stuff off of my device. And it's not my stuff. It's my brother's stuff. It's his stuff. It's weird. It's my ex-husband's stuff. And I don't want anybody to go through all this stuff. But see, I don't really believe that this is a radio. Like, I don't believe he can hear me. But he acts sometimes like he can hear me. But I don't believe he can. I think sometimes they need these things on stuff. And even though it might look like a bad thing, it's probably not that bad a thing. But some of it is. You know, so you might look at these words and think, oh my God. But your device has a radio on it too. My device has a radio on it. FM waves are free. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. But like lib phone number. I mean, this stuff is like, they want everyone to know all my information all the time. And they use different rationales for doing this depending on what they want you to think, what they think will upset you. And they accuse me of just about everything under the sun, even though I haven't done hardly anything under the sun except for be a drunk and just be me and be 1/4 black and be smart. That's pretty much all I've done. I married the same guy twice, which some would say wasn't very smart, but he's not terrible. He certainly didn't do all of this to me, but he did want to hand me all of his stuff because he carries a huge load. He's a member of a special population. He's done a lot of things, and he tries to have a professional life so he can support his children. And so he wanted to hand me all of his bad stuff to take off the burden. I mean, it's a lot of burden for these people to go through. And I'm not saying they should have that much of a burden, but I'm just saying I shouldn't have his problems either. But this module for Bluetooth is a thing. Some of these might be bad things. Like, all of it, it's funny. All I know enough to know that somewhere in all of this is the key to why that device stays on my device. And whether it really is two devices or if it's just a bot that they can access when they want to. And one of these people might have Alzheimer's disease or have that diagnosis or Alzheimer's syndrome or anything like that. It's very upsetting. But I don't. And I don't need to have that put on me. And I don't need to carry that burden for them. It's very upsetting. He seems to have done some very bad things in 2010, or this is just a version of it. I'm not even sure if I want to click on it or not. But we know that I'm not using Netscape, that I've never used Netscape. I only use Chrome, and it's possible that this is Netscape emulating Chrome. Maybe that's why I have so many troubles. I don't know. I wouldn't use that anyway. I'd use Safari. So it's upsetting. Ugh. So anyway, that's funny. It's so funny. It's like, oh my gosh. But I wanted to show it to you. The malware makes me look distressed up in here. But that's simply the function of the malware. Just like I don't have one eyelid that's bigger than the other. That's malware too. But it's nicer malware than usual. So I just wanted to let you know that that's going on right now. I'm getting a little bit of a cold. Maybe you'll get to hear my cold voice. It's quite impressive. And anyway, I hope you're having a happy Christmas. When I find out information, it makes me feel like I've gotten a present. So that's really great. And evidently that guy is somewhere else now. And so he changed from his tower computer to his mobile device. If someone out there is watching, maybe you could help me get him off of my device, because I'm just using this device, y'all. I don't have anything else logged in whatsoever. Even my phone is battery dead off. So it's not receiving or transmitting anything whatsoever. But I thought I would let you know so that you can see, and maybe you can help me understand, because I've never been accused of anything or questioned by anyone or accused of being anything other than square sometimes. But I'm not even that square all the time. These people just hate. And there have been African Americans that have lived here. There's ones that live here now, and they don't suffer like this because they don't look like me, and they didn't say no to them. And that's true for pretty much everyone that's mad at me, which is sad. Especially some of the women are very virulent because they think I kept them from having something that they wanted, or because they think that I didn't accept their advances. Even some women in the program are like that, which is sad. But the point is that I am sane and happy and healthy and in my right mind. And hopefully we can all get to the bottom of this together. Because the good thing about electronic stuff is that it is traceable. It's like if you picked up a rope on the ground and you followed it back. It's quite possible to do that. These things have signatures and they have paths. And if I had enough time to look into it, I would, but I don't. But maybe y'all do. Because I want to do my translations and change my screen caps and look for a real job and do all these other things. And I can't do that on this device freely. It's like being a human slave. So when I say I'm a human slave, you should understand that I haven't committed these crimes that people want to accuse me of. And the people that are accusing me of them, even my own family members, if they are accusing me of anything, they're definitely beholden by financial gain to these people. Or blackmail. They themselves are getting blackmailed for things that I'm trying to help disentangle them from. But sometimes people use blackmail to sell drugs because they figure, if you're in for a penny, in for a pound kind of thing, which is probably where that came from. And so it may not be wholeheartedly disinterested on their part either.